Well, this came out of nowhere. And I do mean nowhere. This film has had absolutely no advertising whatsoever, which is a shame because it's really rather good. I can get Amazon not wanting to admit that it has Mrs. Brown's Boys The Movie, Cell, or Van Wilder Freshman Year, but this? You put this front and centre because damn, this is good. I mean, hats off to whoever made the trailer because visually, not a lot happens given that 99% of this film takes place inside a single airplane's cockpit. Literally. They bought an actual plane and then just cut it to pieces, using only the front galley and the first 8 rows of seats, with the art department buying or rebuilding all of the flight instruments. Which, full marks for authenticity, but you do know that set designers are a thing, right? Or did you just not want to upset the guy with the chainsaw? Anyway, 7500, which is a very different film to 2014's Flight 7500, which is about a supernatural force on a plane. I'll tell you about it sometime. No, 7500 is an almost Hitchcockian film about a plane being hijacked by terrorists. And if that plot description sounds a bit bare bones, that's because this film is pretty bare bones. Not a lot of monologues happening here, neatly explaining who everyone is, what they want, and why they want it. And refreshingly, our lead in this film, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, crossing my path for the first time since 2012's Dark Knight Rises, wasn't a Green Beret or Marine. He doesn't have a
very particular set of skills.
He goes through all the terrorists of the line in dry wit and an air hostess swooning in his arms. He doesn't do any of that. Instead, he pretty much spends the entire film sitting in his chair, scared out of his wits, trying to get his plane down in one piece. It's frankly nail-biting stuff in the way that low-budget films of this type always are. For the first two-thirds anyway. All together now, it all goes silly in the third act. Which is a shame, but all films have to end. And whilst the ending was in keeping with the tone of the film, I still felt like it could have done with a bit of reworking. That aside, there's a lot here I like. It's pretty much shot in real time with some really, really long takes, although I would have preferred the entire film to be shot in one take once things start going sideways, but this film's still really tense. It's all shot in this gritty documentary style. There's constantly someone banging at the cockpit door trying to get in. There's no soundtrack, at least not one that I could find. There's no real moment of humour. For obvious reasons, a pair of fighter jets turn up and send the tension up another notch. It turns out that our hero's wife is cabin crew. Apparently the world of Nigels and Bicky Chuckers is just as bad as you'd imagine. A cabin crew friend of mine assured me that that made sense. The decision to never leave the cockpit was a masterstroke. There's no flashbacks, no dream sequences, just people trapped in a metal tube 38,000 feet in the air with a desperate man trying to get them down safely and several other men trying to get them down unsafely. If you're picturing United 9-3, then you're not far wrong, except this is a fictional tale and United 9-3 sadly wasn't. 7500 is a tense thriller of a film of the type I would have loved to have seen on the silver screen. It gets its claws in and never lets go thanks to an excellent cast and a largely improvised script. If you're after explosions, fight scenes and car chases, then look somewhere else, but to be honest, this is a film that doesn't need them. Its third act could do with some work, but apart from that, this is a masterclass in tension from a newish director that I'll be keeping my eye on. So I definitely think that you should see it, but what do you guys think, and what is your favourite film set in one location? Comment below, let me know. I'm Daniel, Spin and Dunking. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe.